If you're into traveling, but you find it to be so expensive, or maybe you want to step up your travel game and enjoy some of the more luxury experiences, I'm going to be talking about credit card points and miles. This will be a full beginner's guide, but really just an overview. And if you like what you see, consider subscribing. It'll mean a lot to me. I'll put chapters in the video so you can jump around, but here's an outline of what I'm going to be talking about. And before I start, here are a couple caveats. Number one, this is going to be mostly geared towards the US, but it's doable in other countries. And number two, this isn't financial advice. Please don't go into debt doing this. Always pay in full every month and don't spend more than you can afford. Number three, a lot of these cards have annual fees, so make sure to budget for them and assess whether the card is worth keeping after the initial year. Okay, so to start, what are credit card points and miles? A lot of credit cards will offer you either cash back or some kind of percentage multiplier for how many miles they'll give you. I'm sure you've seen advertisements, credit cards offering a certain number of points back on your purchases, but it's a little confusing to know what do those points actually mean and how much are they worth. So there's a couple different types of points. The first is points earned through credit card companies like Amex or Chase, and those can be used to transfer to their partners. And then the second type is points earned directly with the airline or the hotel. It's a little tricky to know how valuable these points are compared to just getting a straight up cash back award, but as we go through this, you'll see that you can really maximize your spending if you're building up these points. Which brings us to point number two. How valuable are the credit card points and miles? Different sources will value the credit card points differently, and you can find this online. They'll give you a rough estimate of how much your points are worth. Basically, it'll be like 2 cents per point or something in that range. Here's a couple different places that I typically look for what these points are worth. And keep in mind, I'd say these numbers are very conservative. You'll see in some examples I go through later. I always try and redeem my points for at least this number, and it's usually not that difficult to do. If you're open-minded with destinations and time frames, you can get very good redemption values on these points. But if there are specific places you want to go, then these averages are a pretty good guideline. And just like with cash sales, there are always bonuses and deals to take advantage of that can really bump up your redemption rate. And just to give you a quick idea, here's a couple of redemptions we've had in the past. And you'll see this number thrown out a lot, the CPP, which is basically how many cents you're getting per point. And if you look at how the credit card providers word it, it'll always be like 80,000 bonus points worth over $1,000 in cash value. That's if you redeem directly through their travel portal, but you can transfer to other partners to get even better value. So we've gotten over $2,000 in value out of our 80K Chase sign-up bonus. So there's a couple other benefits that come with these cards too. Certain cards will give you lounge access, TSA pre, global entry, clear credits, airline credits, rental car insurance, hotels credits, hotel status. Generally, you want to be kind of on top of what the different benefits you're going to get with each different card. I won't go over that in this video, but maybe I'll make some future videos over what cards are good for what. And alongside these benefits come different award rates. So you'll see like 3x on grocery or stuff like that. So you also have to keep track of what kind of categories. Some of them have rotating categories. And that basically takes us into how you're accumulating these points and miles. So the big one is going to be sign-up bonuses. Basically, most cards offer a first-time sign-up bonus where if you spend a certain amount of money within a certain time frame, they'll give you a certain amount of points. That's basically the simplest way to put it. So if you know you have a big purchase coming up or you have some way to maybe pay your rent on a credit card, then you can easily sign up for these cards, hit the minimum spend within that time frame, and then rack up a bunch of points quickly. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier where things can get dangerous. Make sure you're not spending money where you wouldn't normally spend. And one more thing to look out for is opening too many cards within a short period of time may result in you getting denied, so be selective with what you're opening up. Beyond that, like I mentioned, you have to keep track of your card spend categories. There are certain cards like the Built card, for example, which is specifically to pay your rent and get points for doing it. And there's also cash back programs. So these are things like Rakuten or the credit card provider will have some kind of dining program. You'll be able to link your account to Uber, Lyft, Starbucks. Those are probably the main ways you're going to find yourself accumulating points. And even those have different deals. So you'll see like Rakuten offers more points for buying at a certain retailer every once in a while. Perfect example of this is my short, how buying a mattress got me a ticket to Japan. So if you haven't watched that already, go check it out. And the last major part to try and figure out is how you're going to redeem these points and miles. So this is another tricky part. Once you have all these points and miles built up, how do you actually spend them? And like I said earlier, just like with cash, you always have to look out for deals on how you're going to spend these points and miles. So airlines will offer saver tickets for certain dates. Credit card providers will offer transfer bonuses to certain airlines. And it's really important to just understand transfer partners. Go check out my wife's Instagram, the Wanderlust Wallet. She posts monthly updates with different credit card providers, their partners, and transfer bonuses. Always try and find the award availability on the website first and then go back and transfer your points over. This is a bit of a learning curve, but once you get used to it, it's different for every airline, it's different for every hotel. So it's one of those things where you have to learn how to do it and then it gets easier as you go. Once you get good at it though, not only will you have much cheaper vacations, but you'll probably travel in a way that's way more luxurious as well. Before learning about all this points and miles stuff, I never flew business class. I always stayed at the cheapest hotels. But I mean, you can see in our Spain video, like we kind of mix it up to make sure sure we're always getting the best redemption values. So sometimes we'll fly business class, sometimes we'll fly economy, sometimes we'll book a nice hotel, sometimes we'll just pay cash if we find a cheap hotel. And even my Maldives video, that entire stay was basically paid for by opening up a credit card, hitting the spend bonus, and then we found a good redemption rate on an overwater bungalow in the Maldives, and it basically paid for itself. And even though we got the hotel free on points, we still just paid for a flight. It ended up being a much cheaper Maldives trip than if we tried to pay the whole thing with cash. We probably wouldn't have done it at all. So on to some examples. If you look at our Maldives trip, it was a pretty simple case. We just opened up a Marriott card, got the points for opening the card, and Marriott offers a free night bonus as part of being a card holder. And you can see from our redemption tracker here, the overwater bungalow would have cost us nearly $7,000, but we were able to just turn everyday purchases, utility bills, groceries, stuff like that into this vacation. And you can see our CPP on these points is 2.9, which is a really good redemption, especially for Marriott. I think on average, people put the value of those points at around 0.7. So 2.9 is a really good rate for those. That's just one example of how you can use these sign-up bonuses to pay for your vacations. And there's so many credit cards out there, so many different sign-up bonuses. As long as you're responsible, you can travel for free. That's all I wanted to say in the video. If you like the information, consider subscribing. And if you want to know anything more, leave the question in the comments. I'll respond. Maybe I'll even make another video going deeper into this. And thanks so much for watching.